story in this episode of Kiff begins with a lot of cheerful energy, just like always. Kiff, the optimistic squirrel, and her best friend Barry, the laid-back bunny, are joined by Christophe, a younger kid they know. Everyone seems excited and ready for adventure. Song lyrics with Kiff's name fill the air, setting that lively and playful mood right from the start. Kiff and Barry's laughter shows the close friendship these two have, a bond behind so many of their adventures and misadventures in this bustling, magical mountain town full of intelligent animals and quirky creatures. Right away, there's a mention of a beloved children's show, Lil Ouchie, which the older animals adored when they were growing up. The show's cheerful theme song and its catchy, comforting message about dealing with pains and little accidents is more than just nostalgia for them. It's part of their identity, a bonding memory from their youth. There's a sense here that childhood shows shape the way you see the world, and Kiff and Barry feel it's important Christophe grows up with similarly good taste. Christophe, however, seems more interested in something called Cool Baby, a modern, possibly silly or pointless internet video on TableTube. This difference in taste between generations causes Kiff and Barry to feel a bit worried. They joke that Christophe needs refining to help him become as wise and enlightened as older kids like them. They decide to introduce him to Lil Ouchie, to give him that sense of belonging to the shared culture of Tabletown's older kids. There's a sweetness and humor in the way Kiff and Barry try to guide Christophe, as if they're mentors on a mission to save him from hollow trends in favor of what they think are meaningful stories. Kiff and Barry look for the perfect Lil Ouchie video to show Christophe. Ads and songs from the show run in the background, repeatedly referencing waterproof adhesive bandages, which is both a running product placement joke and a symbol for childhood comfort. In Lil Ouchie, bandages mean protection, healing, and care. This is echoed through the references to falling, scraping knees, stubbing toes, or just feeling a little hurt on the inside, too. The show's message is, sometimes, a hug or a friendly word is as important as a bandage for your wounds. Soon, Kiff and Barry stumble across an ad for a live Lil Ouchie meet and greet at the Tabletown Aquarium. This feels like a magical opportunity, a chance to connect Christophe to the magic that shaped their own childhoods. Kiff remembers her own first encounter with Lil Ouchie fondly. For her, meeting this character in person was transformative. She imagines it would be the same for Christophe, maybe even inspire him to speak his first words. There's a touching, sincere hope underneath Kiff's enthusiastic efforts. She wants Christophe to have the same bright, formative moment that she cherished. So off they go to the aquarium, bringing Christophe along in hopes of sharing the joy. It's a classic Kiff and Barry quest, full of excitement, hope, and the anticipation of a perfect outcome. But typical of the series, there's chaos and misunderstanding along the way. When they reach the aquarium and see the line, they find out too late they've gotten in the Meet the Reef line, not the meet and greet with Lil Ouchie. This mix-up is played for laughs but also highlights how doing things for the right reasons doesn't always mean things go right. While Christophe is probably confused or disappointed, Kiff and Barry try to make the best of things, suggesting they learn about reef-building corals and underwater ecosystems. It's a small moment of optimism, a refusal to let disappointment spoil the day. Here, the show gently teases the way grown-ups try to turn setbacks into teachable moments. As always, food becomes part of the Kiff and Barry adventure. They decide to get lunch full splash melts, splashy sauce, fried splash-a-peno poppers. Kiff's love of food and naming things in silly ways fits with the playful world of Tabletown, where even a menu can become a joke and a tiny bit of world building. When Barry asks for Bloomin' Splash Blossom, but the cashier has no idea what he's talking about, it's just another way the show likes to wink at the audience about confusion, childhood misunderstandings, and the little chaos in everyday experiences. Soon, Kiff realizes they missed an important ad about Lil Ouchie's show and the timing of the event. They figure out there's a splash show, which is the key to their day. If they can get into the show, Christophe will finally understand how cool Lil Ouchie really is. The show is also introducing new awesome waterproof adhesive bandages, which has become a running joke and symbol for comfort and safety. The things kids look for in heroes like Lil Ouchie. Kiff becomes reflective and tries to share a story with Christophe about the impact meeting Lil Ouchie had on her. She remembers being scared, then being comforted by Lil Ouchie's kindness and a special sticker she got as a keepsake, a Junior Oucher sticker. For Kiff, this sticker isn't just a piece of paper. It's a magic token, a reminder of warmth and acceptance and a symbol that someone cared. She even jokes, maybe a little boastfully, that meeting Lil Ouchie helped her start talking a lot, showing how deeply that moment impacted her. She offers Christophe her story as if trying to pass on this emotional magic. But Christophe is distracted. He isn't really listening. This is a moment many older siblings, parents, or mentors can relate to. That hope to pass on treasured experiences to the next generation, only to find the kids have their own ideas, likes, and attitudes. Sometimes, the connections adults feel to their childhood aren't the same for actual kids. Christophe's indifference, and maybe his silence, is both funny and quietly honest. Not wanting to give up, Kiff and Barry look for a new way to get closer to Lil Ouchie. They find out about the Splashport, a fun aquarium challenge for visitors. If they fill up a souvenir booklet with enough stamps gathered from various attractions, they get front row seats at the show. Suddenly, the day turns into a quest, collecting stickers, running around the aquarium, engaged in all sorts of silly and random tasks for a promise of a special reward. There's a catchy Splashport song, all about how collecting stickers and doing random tasks can be a blast. It feels both earned and gently poking fun at the way children's attractions often turn simple visits into elaborate quests. Kiff, Barry, and Christophe race around, determined to complete every challenge, showing the determination and optimism that defines Kiff's character. Even when things get difficult or confusing, Kiff keeps going. She's determined to make Christophe's first meeting with Lil Ouchie as magical as hers. Their efforts pay off and they earn those precious front row seats. The crowd is buzzing with excitement as the show begins. The announcer introduces Lil Ouchie with flair, prompting cheers and that feeling of community that only a shared childhood favorite can bring. Kiff and Barry are swept up in the fun. Kiff shouts out her love for Lil Ouchie, and you can see how much this still means to her, even though she's older now. In a touching moment, Lil Ouchie asks for volunteers from the crowd. Kiff steps up and shares her story with the performer inside the costume, or maybe with Lil Ouchie himself, if you want to believe in the magic. She tells him about meeting Lil Ouchie at the Science Museum as a kid, how she received a one-of-a-kind Junior Oucher sticker, and how much it meant to her, how it helped shape her, and gave her courage and confidence. The crowd applauds this heartfelt story. There's an understanding that childhood experiences can shape who we are. Lil Ouchie offers a sticker to Christophe as a way to continue the tradition. The show then focuses on a fun demonstration of the new waterproof adhesive bandages. Lil Ouchie and the volunteers, including Kiff and maybe Christophe, test the bandages in a stunt involving releasing dolphins and getting splashed. Thanks to the bandages, they're all dry as a bone, and the crowd goes wild. This is silly, exaggerated fun, but at heart, it's about the simple joys kids still love. Spectacle, friendly competition, and the assurance of care and comfort symbolized by those magic bandages. After the show, Kiff reflects on the day's adventures. She admits maybe her love for Lil Ouchie is really about nostalgia, a longing for the uncomplicated warmth and reassurance she felt as a kid. She realizes Christophe will have his own childhood, shaped by different interests, friends, and moments. He doesn't have to be the same as Kiff or appreciate the same shows. Kiff concludes it's okay for him to be as wrong as he wants, really to make his own choices and mistakes. Barry praises Kiff for being wise and enlightened, joking about cool baby once more. This realization is the heart of the episode. Kiff's initial mission was to turn Christophe into a proper fan of Lil Ouchie, just as she once was. It was an effort to both guide and connect with him through shared culture. But by the end, Kiff understands you can't force people, especially kids, to love what you love just because it's special to you. She sees that trying to strongly shape Christophe's memories or likes is pointless. She gives up some control and accepts their differences. True love is letting someone experience and shape their own childhood, their own memories, joys, and even mistakes. There's a strong theme underlying all the jokes and hijinks: the difference between nostalgia and genuine connection. The episode gently asks what it means to grow up, and whether we cling to childhood favorites because they really are the best, or just because they remind us of a time when things felt simpler. By recognizing this, Kiff matures a little. She can honor her memories while letting others make their own. This is a powerful, universal feeling, especially for older siblings, parents, teachers, or any mentor who wants to pass on what they loved but has to accept that kids make their own world. 2. Symbolism is gently woven throughout the episode. The waterproof adhesive bandages are more than a running joke. They are symbols of being protected and cared for as a kid. By giving Christophe a sticker, Lil Ouchie is passing on comfort and a blessing. Go make your own memories. Here's a little badge for the journey. And the chase for stickers around the aquarium echoes the way kids collect trophies and memories, building up little pieces of joy that become part of their personal story. There is foreshadowing in Kiff's early story about getting her own sticker and how talking to Lil Ouchie unlocked new confidence in her. It prepares the audience to see how Christophe might have his own important moment, even if it doesn't look just like Kiff's. The big ending, with the bandage demonstration and the joyful chaos, is the symbolic passing of the torch. Childhood magic isn't about recreating your exact experience in someone else. It's about helping others find their own spark. Comparing Kiff to similar mentor stories in animated kids series, shows like Arthur, Hey Arnold, or even Bluey, this episode fits nicely as an example of generational nostalgia and letting go. Many shows play on the idea of adults or older kids trying to hold onto their youth by passing it along, only to discover the next generation wants to chart their own course. Kiff strikes a nice balance between the comedy of miscommunication and the sincerity of wanting to share joy. Unlike some shows that might cast this difference as a conflict, Kiff handles it with kindness and self-reflection. As Kiff and Barry leave the aquarium, Kiff admits she still doesn't get the appeal of cool baby, Christophe's favorite thing. This closing joke reminds us that sometimes we won't ever understand what younger people are into, and that's okay. The circle repeats. The audience sees that the point isn't to always agree, but to allow space for someone to find what matters to them. Childhood is about exploring and discovering things for yourself, no matter how odd or silly they might seem to others. Throughout this story, Kiff's optimism never breaks down, even in frustration or disappointment. Her constant attempts to help Christophe, and her willingness to change plans and try different things, finding the right show, doing the Splashport challenge, shows how caring can be both persistent and flexible. Barry, always mellow, is the perfect sounding board. He supports Kiff's efforts, joins the fun, points out their mistakes. We should have listened to the ad, and gently keeps perspective. This core friendship remains the anchor of the adventure, and their differences in energy and attitude complement each other. There's also an underlying message about letting go, not just of control, but of the wish for things to be perfect or just like we remember them. Kiff's childhood experience with Lil Ouchie profoundly shaped her, but Christophe's experience doesn't have to be the same to be meaningful. The realization that you should be allowed to be as wrong as you want is, on one level, a funny way to phrase it. But on another, it's about granting kids freedom, the right to explore, make mistakes, and chart new paths, even if adults don't always understand or agree. In a way, Lil Ouchie himself is a symbol of childhood innocence, friendship, and reassurance. The character is physically there in the story as someone to meet, but emotionally, Lil Ouchie stands for the bigger idea that everyone deserves someone to be there for them, to put a bandage on your boo-boo, whether that's a scraped knee or a sad feeling inside. The story suggests that growing up is partly about learning how to be your own Lil Ouchie for others, comforting, listening, and helping, while letting them have their unique journey. By focusing on the difference between guiding and forcing, Kiff S02E28 manages to give a lesson that's gentle and honest. The episode's light, musical tone, silly jokes, and adventurous pace help the message go down easy, but behind it there is complexity. It looks at the tricky job of passing on family or cultural traditions, how to share joy without smothering someone's growth. The ending, with Kiff deciding she doesn't really need Christophe to love what she loves, but is happy he gets to have his own fun, is quietly profound. It marks a step forward for her, too. The episode ends with laughter, a gently mocking refrain about understanding, or not understanding, each other, and another set of upbeat musical notes. The world of Kiff is restored to its usual joyful chaos, with just a little more wisdom earned along the way. All in all, this episode of Kiff is about nostalgia, generational difference, and the challenge of being a good mentor. By using the familiar quest for stickers, jokes about product ads, and soft-hearted mishaps, it wraps a genuine theme in humor. It accepts that old memories are precious, but new ones must be made in their own time. The waterproof bandages, the stickers, and even the failed attempts and wrong lines stand for all the messy but meaningful ways we grow. Kiff's realization that Christopher's childhood is his own to build signals a maturity and acceptance many struggle to find. As with any great show, Kiff isn't really about talking animals, but about real feelings. About encouragement, disappointment, and the courage to let go. The mountains, the magical creatures, and the wild adventures are there to make the lesson fun to watch. But after the jokes and chaos end, what's left behind is a memory, a bit of sticker magic, for everyone who's ever tried to share what they love with the next kid in line.